Hello everybody and welcome back to this week's episode of The Sit Down, where we have a lot to talk about, namely in that the WBC seem to be really trying to stamp their authority on lots of different things that are going on. So let's start off with the fact that in support of the WBC, I must say that I'm quite happy with the fact that they have ordered the Oleksandr Usyk versus Ajit Kabayel fight. I think that that's a good move on their part, because I think Kabayel deserves that opportunity, in all honesty. They have sort of ordered that and said, from what I understand, and do correct me if I'm wrong, they have said that essentially after Usyk faces his next opponent, the one after that will have to be Ajit Kabayel. And if not, he risks being stripped of his WBC title. Which, you know, it's a conflicting one, I suppose, because it comes in light of lots of strippings of lots of titles. So obviously we saw quite some time ago now that Terence Crawford was stripped of his WBC title because he failed to pay the sanctioning fees. And, you know, he put out a really candid statement and kind of explained where he was coming from, saying that obviously the ring title was free and the WBC sanctioning fees are just ludicrous. And I guess it sort of made sense when we looked at it retrospectively, given the fact that he then retired not long after that, so saved himself having to pay thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that has obviously taken place and we're aware of that, and in the framing of that we have to now think about the fact that Shakur Stevenson was also stripped of his WBC title, his 135-pound WBC title. So essentially he most recently fought Teofimo Lopez for the 140-pound WBO title and won that fight. And then some days later he was stripped of his WBC title. Now there's a bit of confusion, particularly me, I'm confused, because it's really hard to keep track of, you know, why it is that the WBC moves in certain ways and what the specific rules are, and there's just lots to unpack with it. However, I was sent a video earlier today, which was Shakur Stevenson's lawyer in conversation with Andre Ward and Roy Jones Jr. And they were having a conversation on their podcast, which is really good, by the way. I definitely check it out. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It'll probably come back to me. But yeah, for sure, check it out. And actually, anything that Andre Ward does is worth checking out. And it was Shakur Stevenson's lawyer, and he was talking about sort of what had happened in the run-up to this. And he said that essentially, prior to the fight with Teofimo Lopez, out of respect, they had alerted the WBC as to their plans, right? So they were going to fight at 140 pounds for the WBO title, and kind of got the nod from them, the green light from them that this is all okay. And following on from that, as it approached closer to the fight, or maybe it was just after the fight, I can't remember all of the details, the WBC suddenly were trying really hard to get in contact with them, as in emailing lots and lots, and saying that, you know, you're not being responsive over email. And essentially they had asked for double what the WBO asked for in terms of sanctioning fees for a fight that they weren't even involved in, which is crazy to me. It's actually crazy to me. And the lawyer, excuse me, because I don't know his name, he read out some of the rules, the contractual rules, and for example, one of them that he read out was that in what's contracted with the WBC in terms of their guidelines and their rules, it says that the WBC may give the champion 15 days to, you know, consider what he wants to do in terms of the options that are available to him. And the lawyer stated that they were not giving those 15 days. And it felt ridiculous to them as a team to have to pay, you know, again, hundreds of thousands of pounds in sanctioning fees for a fight that they're not even involved in. So all of that to say, I don't feel that Mauricio Solomon of the WBC is doing himself any favours, because he's just coming off as someone who's throwing his weight around. Obviously, he knows that the green and gold belt has a lot of cachet, has a lot of status, and now it just feels like he's monopolising that and manipulating boxers in order to, you know, make as much money as he can. And yeah, it just all feels quite wrong. The lawyer also had said, which I thought was really interesting, that he had referred to, this is Mauricio Solomon, in conversation with the lawyer, he had referred to the fact that Shakur Stevenson and Bud Crawford, Terence Crawford, are great friends. I mean, what's that got to do with anything? You know, it's very bizarre. But either way, that's what's been going on in terms of the WBC. And I do wonder, it does make me think, like, at what point will someone or something stand in the way of this type of power play? And, you know, a really good point was made, which is that because there's no centralized union for boxers or boxers in this case, or centralized governing body, everything feels very, I guess there's a lot of disparity between what happens one day to what happens the next, and it feels like there's so many loopholes and things to navigate. And for me, at least, I feel very strongly that, you know, all of these sanctioning bodies, promoters, managers, etc., cool, I hear it, but for me, I feel quite strongly about wanting to protect the fighters, because ultimately it's them that gets in the ring, it's them that risks their lives, it's them that brings the joy and entertainment of boxing to us, the fans. And yeah, there needs to be some sort of shift. And it's a weird time in boxing because there's so much happening. Like, there's so much fresh entrepreneurship going into boxing, right? We've got new promoters popping up out of the blue. We've got new, I guess, like management teams, and new this and new that. And it's a strange time in boxing. It feels like we're almost at a crossroads. And I'd be really interested to see where we sort of land in the next couple of years. And I wonder if the WBC will still have that type of power that it does now. But either way, so kind of circling back, they've ordered this Ajit Kabayel fight with Oleksandr Usyk. Cool. Tyson Fury has also now stated that he is after the trilogy fight with Usyk, which is a weird one. Like, in one respect, I wouldn't mind seeing it. In the other respect, I don't think a lot of people probably support my opinion on that. And I mean, you guys tell me. If you guys want to see it, let me know in the comments. But from my understanding of talking to people, it's not a fight that a lot of people want to see. But either way, before we even get onto that, obviously we've got the Tyson Fury v Makhmudov fight, which is taking place at Tottenham Hotspur's stadium in April. I believe it's April the 11th. So that's now been officially announced with the venue as taking place at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So that's going to be a big one. It's going to be a comeback fight for Tyson Fury, so that should be good. And, you know, another exciting fight, really exciting fight that we've got in the heavyweight division is obviously WBO champion Fabio Wardley versus Daniel Dubois, which is taking place in May. It's one that I'm absolutely buzzing for. I can't wait to see it. I keep saying I'm so torn about how I think that fight's going to play out. You know, my head says that Dubois got it because of, you know, the pedigree and the experience of his amateurs, and, you know, just being so good at the fundamentals, etc. Packs so much power and speed and all of those things. However, my heart says that Fabio Wardley's got it because he's just got that grit and that resilience, and he's improving all the time. It's going to be a mouth-watering fight, and I am so excited for it. So yes, lots going on. Definitely interested to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments if you think that the WBC is moving mad, or if you think that they have a point. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd be intrigued to see the Oleksandr Usyk Tyson Fury trilogy. And yeah, once again, guys, thanks so much for joining me on the sit down, and we look forward to catching you on the next episode.